Good day, my name is Wouter van Aswegen from Johnson Walters, and this presentation is about the Log to Fix Municipal Service Logging and Maintenance app presented for the town councils and municipalities of Botswana. As I said, my name is Wouter van Aswegen. I'm an executive consultant at Johnson Walters, and if you need to contact me for any questions, please send an email to wouter@johnsonwalters.com. So municipalities and town councils have a challenge when it comes to municipal service delivery. And it's not by a lack of desire. It's not because people don't want to or don't have the desire to or they're just lazy. It's simply because there's no systems in place. There are no systems in place, and that is because these systems are very expensive. So if you want to put in place a CRM, a maintenance management system, or a call center, this could cost millions of pula, and it's not in the budget of municipalities and town councils to put these amazing systems in. That's more for your big metros like Johannesburg and Pretoria and places like that to put those type of systems in. So what happens is, because there are no systems in place, um, the logging of faults are inaccurate and not helpful in many cases. Firstly, it's because of miscommunication. So the person that makes the call or comes into the call center or walk in to say that I've got this problem, don't communicate well exactly where the problem is. The second thing is, sometimes they just don't log it because they have to take off work to get there, to go to report it, um, or they have to travel there to report it, and it just doesn't happen. And the third problem that is there from the municipality or the town council side is these calls are really recorded manually. You can put it in Excel or write on some sort of form or whatever that goes out in a job card or whatever, but it's a manual process. So it's very error prone. It's depending on how it is written down, if people can actually read what is said there or written down. And it's a completely manual process. Papers get lost. There's no real way to manage this. So the consequences of this for the municipality is that the report is either recorded late or it's not recorded at all. So when there's a problem with sewage running down the street, everybody thinks somebody else has recorded it. So the logging never comes to the municipality, which causes that the logging is not done properly. The other part of it is, because it's a manual process, there's no way of planning ahead of where the big problems are so that we can solve it. So the municipality is constantly in crisis management mode. So there's always a crisis that needs to be sorted out, and you can't be proactive because of it. Another problem, especially with a manual system, is that you have double callouts to the same location. So the power goes off in a street, 20 people make the call, and 3 electricity teams end up there to try and solve the problem, where it was only necessary for one. With a manual process, it's virtually impossible to give feedback to the public. So to let the people know that the person that recorded it, the problem is being attended to, it has been fixed, to give that feedback to the public is virtually impossible. There's also no planning, as I said before, no planned maintenance. When you need to replace meters or pipelines or manholes, you don't do it in a planned way because you don't know where the problems really are. It's a gut feel, and maybe on the age of the infrastructure. So there's no real efficient planned maintenance. When the reporting goes up to management or executive level, there's also this gut feel of, yes, we're doing okay, or no, we're not doing okay, because there's no real hard numbers. You've got these papers that go out to the teams that fix it. They send papers back, and you've got these stacks of papers, and somebody needs to compute this into a report. So the reporting is not accurate at all. And the final part is that there are financial losses for the town council because of wastage, because of loss of income. So the electricity goes down, we don't know about it, we're not making money, we're not charging them, they're not using electricity, so we can't charge them. because of the loss of infrastructure or the lack of infrastructure, there's a financial loss to the town council. Now, we are sitting currently in the fourth industrial revolution. Now, we all remember in the early 1900s when they discovered that they can put coal and um, create electricity. That was the first industrial revolution, and it totally revolutionized the way we do things, the way business works. Today, we're sitting with technology as the fourth industrial revolution. Technology is what is driving business. Technology has grown to such an extent that we can use it to expand and improve our business processes. Now, these are Botswana stats. This is not world stats or South African stats. This is Botswana stats. And it was very insightful when I actually researched this. 75% of adults in Botswana have a cell phone. 69% of adults in Botswana have a smartphone, which means it's a phone that can put apps on, that can download apps either from the Play Store, the App Store, or from the Huawei store. So you can get these apps and people use them. Data is becoming much cheaper. For 100 pula, you can buy 8 gigs of data now. So data is becoming very affordable. It's not that expensive to get data on your phone. Connectivity is almost everywhere. There's almost not a town or city in Botswana that doesn't have cell phone coverage or decent cell phone coverage. And it's continuously expanding. The mobile network companies are doing a very good job to expand it and to improve it in areas where people need this. And from an education point of view, 10, 20 years ago, if you wanted to put an app on wanted somebody to use an app on their phone, you had to educate them what is an app, how can an app work. But nowadays, everybody's got a phone and everybody's got apps on their phones, so there's no barrier to entry. We can actually just say there's an app and people will naturally know how to use it. They're using WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all sorts of apps on their phones already. So we don't have to educate them. So that barrier to entry has completely disappeared, making it easy for technology to be actually used by the greater portion of the population. And just an interesting side note on this, every person that has, or on average, every person that has a cell phone has more than one device. So in Botswana, there are 3.5 million connected devices, but only 2.5 million people. That means on average, a person with a device that is connected has at least 2 devices. So what do we do as far as a solution? What do we need to build a proper municipal service logging and maintenance management solution? So first of all, logging must be easy. It mustn't be difficult. So if a person is in the street and there's a pothole or a street lamp's not working or the electricity is off, he must be able to go into a phone, log it on the spot, and track the GPS coordinates of where he is at. So there's no problem with logging the call or finding where the problem is. Part of the easy logging should be from the call center side as well. So if somebody walks in or somebody calls, it must be pretty easy to log that call, to put it onto a system where it is easy to track that call. Secondly, there must be job planning. So if these calls come in, these logs come in, somebody must be quite easily able to put all these together, all these calls together into jobs and allocate those jobs to specific service teams. So if there are 20 people that call about the power outage in a specific area, that person can combine it into one job and allocate that to one team that's going to sort that out. From there on, the maintenance of that must be able to be managed. So the team that goes out to solve this problem must be able to easily find where the problem is. So must be able to look at the GPS coordinates that were logged and easily go and find where that problem is. And must get the contact details of the person making the call so that, let's say they need to get into a property, they can call them and say, we are here, we need to get into the property to sort out the problem. They also need to be able to easily capture before and after photos. So they arrive there, they take a picture of the manhole overflowing, everything running through the streets. After they fix, they take a picture, it's sorted. There's evidence that the work was done. They must also be able to easily update the job status. So I have arrived at the job, I am busy with the work, we are completed with the work, or we're waiting for parts, or whatever the status change must be. And they must be able to add some notes to this so that there's a record of what they were doing or any problems that they have encountered when they did the job. And finally, there must be feedback to the public. So when he arrives at the site, the person who logged the call must say, the team has arrived. When they are busy fixing it, the public must need to be notified. They are working on the problem. And then when they're done, the person who logged it, or people that logged it, if it was multiple calls for the same job, should be notified to say the job is completed, so that they know what is going on. And then from a management point of view, there must be some reporting that comes out of this. So there must be a status report of what every job is doing at the moment, some age analysis, so it tells you how well teams are doing, how long logs are being taken before they get allocated to jobs, how efficient certain teams are with working with the jobs, how long it takes for a job on average to be completed. These age analysis reports need to come out to see if you are improving, or if you have certain teams that do better than others, or if you've got certain problem areas that you need to sort out. So this reporting is essential for management. So what we've developed is a log to fix app. Now this app is a simple app, and it does the basic requirements for a maintenance management and logging app for a municipality. Now, from a public point of view, the user interface is pretty simple. The user can select the municipality or the town council is in there. At the top, you can see there's a little pen, and you can select that. And there are quick icons, so you can quickly go into any of those services. Now, those services, we picked 6 general ones, but if you've got different services, it's easy to add them on. But you don't want to clutter that screen. You don't want to have 50 different services there, because then the ease of actually logging a call goes away. Note that these are just the main sections. So if I've got no water that's coming into my property, so the water is gone, then I can click on the water one, and then there's a subcategory that says no water. Or if I see a pipe burst in the street in the corner somewhere, there's water, clean water running down the street, I still click on water and I put in pipe burst or leak or something like that. So we don't put every possible thing on the main screen, otherwise it's just going to clutter it, and people are going to take forever, and then they're not going to log again. At the bottom of it, you can see there are settings, my logs, and logout. So if I go to my logs, I can see all the logs I've made, and I can track the progress on them. And that is not just active logs, that are logs in the history. So if I made a log 2-3 years ago, I can still go in there, see the pictures that were taken, see the notes that were written, see the status updates that were done. So I can always see the history of my logs through this app. So this is the public side of the app. From a municipality side of it, it will be exactly the same app, but the municipality has 3 extra icons at the top. Now these icons, this same functionality is also available on a web interface, but these are the 3 things a municipality can do, or a town council can do on the app. The first one is the call center. Now that is a manual call, so somebody calls the call center, or there's a walk-in and they log a call. Now that is from the call center point of view. Now remember, on a call center call, there are no GPS locations, so they must be a bit more clear as to the location where the problem is. And also, the user that is logging it is now the call center operator and not the person that's making the call. So the call center will also have to add the contact number and contact name of the person that is making the call. On the right hand side, the jobs, that is where a person, a supervisor, will go in, take the logs that came in and allocate them to jobs, and allocate those jobs to teams. And in the middle one, the service one, that is where the service team will go in when it goes to fix the problem, takes his pictures, changes the status, and that's where he gets his service entry, all from the same app. As I said, there's a web application outside of this as well. Only the municipalities will have access to this. The public will not have access to this. So the call center logging can happen on the web interface or on the app. Job allocation can happen on the app as well, but also in the web application. And then user administration. That can also happen on the app, but allocating municipal users to specific teams or to specific actions. So if you've got a user that you want to make a call center user, you can either allocate him as a call center user through the app, or you can do it from the web interface. And similarly with managing your teams. And then the reports are on the website only. The reports are not on the app. So your job reporting, your age analysis, those type of reports are only on the web application. Now, from a cost point of view, the entire system was developed in a way that will save the municipality some money to make it cost effective to use. As I said previously, to have these systems dedicated for your municipality is millions of pula to put that in place. So we've gone from the point of view to reduce that cost. So from a public user, the public user gets access to the app completely free, can download it, it will never pay. He can use the app free of any costs. But to try and recover some of that costs on our side, we do put a banner ad on the public users app so that we can recover some costs. From a municipality or town council point of view, the price, we've reduced it from a combined point of view, and the price is only 10,000 pula per month for a metro population of up to about 100,000 people. For every 50,000 people thereafter, it's 5,000 pula extra. So for Gaborone, metro population, which is currently roughly 421,000 people in the metro area of Gaborone, it would be 45,000 per month. The reason for this pricing is so that everybody doesn't pay a high price. We can't charge every little town council 45,000 per month. It's just not fair. So we made it so that the smallest unit is 10,000 per month to make it affordable for smaller town councils and municipalities to do. Now, a question I've been asked on this is, how do we measure this population growth? Because people get born, people die, the population changes all the time. Because there's no real accurate way of saying exactly how many people are in an area, we take a good guess, and it's really on an honesty-based system where we look at what the population is now, and we know there's a growth over time, but we'll revisit it every now and again and see where the population is now. So if you've got 98,000 people currently in your population, then we're not going to say as soon as you've got 100,001 people, you now need to start 15,000. We can't do that accurate measurement. So we revisit it from time to time. On the municipal app, for the municipal or the municipal part of the app, for the municipal users, there will not be any ads because the municipality is paying for that. Now, additional services can be added onto the. Johnson Walters is a company that create tailored solutions. So the system that I've presented now is very basic. It covers the logging, it covers the maintenance, and it gives you some basic reporting. But if you want to add onto that and you need to add extra services, you can actually do that. Some of the services that are available is job costing. So when a person goes, or the team goes out to do the service, they can then have a bill of materials. Instead of just saying, I have fixed the manhole, they can say, I have used so many pipe, I've got changed this meter, I have got a new lid. Whatever the bill of materials is that they used, you can have that and you can actually cost that job. Coupled with this is a stock management part of it. So if you've got a store and you book out certain stock to a service team, that service vehicle becomes a small store on its own, and when they use it out of their store. So you've got stock management across the vehicles, across your main store, that comes part of this. Also, with services, you are working on the assets of the municipality or town council. So effectively, you are building your asset register. Now, an asset register, usually at the moment, if it's done manually, it's about 60-70% correct. There's so many things that change, it just doesn't get updated back. People swap things out, and the process, because it's manual, to get it fixed is really such a big problem that it hardly ever gets done. So the asset register gets out of date very quickly. Now, if we integrate the asset register within the system, then that asset register will automatically remain up to date because the service team makes a change and it gets recorded against the asset on the asset register. Hotspot reporting, so we've got a certain area that constantly gets pipe bursts or sewage problems, and we know that we need to plan to replace that specific section of pipeline. Then the hotspot reporting is the one that you use for that, so it gives you an actual map with hotspots of where the problems are. So when you want to plan your maintenance, you can target areas that have high maintenance requirements and make a major fix there, which will then reduce your maintenance load. And then at the top end of it, we can also come in as management, or management information consultants, and come and look at your other business processes and optimize them for you. Now, cost-wise, the job costing, asset register, and hotspot reporting, those can be added into the solution at an increased monthly cost. So instead of 10,000, you will pay more. But please inquire about those, because it depends on the municipality and your needs. We can add certain functionality in for you at an additional monthly cost. The consultation will have a consultation fee, and then whatever development comes off that will be part of a separate quote, depending on what the specific needs are. Well, thank you very much. If you have any questions you want to ask or want to inquire anything more, please feel free to contact me directly at voter@johnsonwalters.com by email. And I hope to hear from you. Thank you very much.